Kia ora. In today's news, it's hoped legislation for partnership schools will be in place by the end of the year, so that the first schools can open their doors at the start of 2014. Education Minister Hekia Parata says the charter schools can decide their curriculum, school dates and salaries, but will have to set targets. Associate Education Minister John Banks says they have had plenty of interest from potential sponsors for the schools. Plans for an internet cable linking New Zealand, Australia and the United States have been cancelled because of a funding shortfall, and it's claimed because of US objection to Chinese involvement. Labour criticised our government for failing to see the project through, but the Prime Minister saw it differently. The modern apprenticeship scheme is to be extended to support all apprentices without age restrictions. Tertiary Education Minister Stephen Joyce says it's part of a comprehensive industry training policy review to boost apprentice numbers and increase training support. The EMA is welcoming the changes as an important investment, but the Council of Trade Unions is calling for more money for the scheme. Union Secretary Peter Conway is also dismayed that Training Institute won't control strategies for developing skills.
Now the problem is they haven't funded that sort of work, and it still doesn't look as if they will, and they're also not making any effort to include unions.
The government has asked the Waitangi Tribunal to speed up its process on the Māori Council water rights claim. There's a tight time frame for the partial sale of Mighty River Power, but Bill English wants to consider the tribunal findings in good faith.
We've just sent them a memorandum today, seeing if they can get their views clear and in front of the government in a couple of weeks sooner than they might have been planning.
Reforms are on the cards for the Family Court, including a new disputes resolution service and a 3-track court process system. The maximum penalty for breaching a protection order will be raised from 2 to 3 years imprisonment. That legislation will come before Parliament later this year. Dog control and breeding rules are again in the spotlight after a woman was attacked by her grandson's pit bull cross in Rotorua. Owen Dance of the New Zealand Kennel Club says it's individual dogs that are dangerous, and often because of their particular circumstances.
They're not dangerous because they are XYZ breed. The Kennel Club favours laws that make owners of potentially dangerous dogs accept responsibility for the potential danger. Gangs have spent whānau ora money on drugs. 10 men were arrested in May, including a mongrel mob notorious member who pleaded guilty to conspiracy to sell cannabis. $20,000 from the We Against Violence Trust, which had a contract for whānau ora services, was used for the drugs. A tree has been planted beside Auckland's War Memorial Museum today to commemorate the centenary of the birth of Raoul Wallenberg. The Swedish diplomat is credited with saving the lives of 100,000 Hungarian Jews in Budapest during World War II, mostly by working the Nazis' own bureaucracy against themselves. George Farkas' father, John, was Wallenberg's right-hand man in Budapest.
My father described Wallenberg as an incredibly courageous man, very handsome, but very meek, mild and reserved, except for when he confronted the Germans.
To international news, the Obama administration has quietly cleared the way for US residents to buy weapons for Syrian rebels. The Washington DC-based Syrian support group has been granted a license to collect money for arms and pass it directly to armed insurgents. Religious violence in Egypt has seen 6 villagers and 10 police officers wounded when angry Muslims attacked a church and Christian homes outside Cairo. It comes after a Muslim man died on Tuesday from wounds he sustained in a fight with a Christian. Ka nui ngā karere matua mai te whare kōrero o rima, Moriora.